From the station that's on your side, you're watching News 19 at 11.
Explosions rocking France. Now all eyes focused on Paris this evening following multiple deadly attacks on several targets around the city. Many are dead, several are injured, and the world continues to ask questions. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Loren Thomas. JR and Andrea have the night off. Even though the attacks are thousands of miles away, it's having a direct impact on the Palmetto State, with South Carolinians tweeting about their experience in Paris tonight. At least 100 people, including multiple gunmen, are dead after a series of attacks in Paris. You saw and heard just a few moments ago a couple of explosions during a soccer match between France and Germany. In fact, you could see some of the players actually stop while the explosions went off. There are also reports of gunfire throughout the city. Craig Boswell reports from Washington, D.C.
It's a night of terror in Paris. There have been multiple attacks at several locations in a coordinated act of terrorism. More than 100 people have been killed. Many of the dead were at the Bataclan concert hall where hostages were taken. French authorities stormed the hall, killing 2 gunmen and ending the siege. Police describe a scene of carnage inside the theater. The gunmen tossed explosives at the hostages. Gunmen also opened fire in a restaurant, killing at least 11 people. During a soccer game between Germany and France, 2 explosions went off outside the stadium north of Paris.
When I looked up to the sky after I heard that loud bang, there were no fireworks, and that's when I knew it had to be something pretty serious.
French President François Hollande was at the stadium but was safely evacuated. He went on television to declare a state of emergency.
L'état d'urgence, lui, sera proclamé sur l'ensemble du territoire.
President Obama offered to help France as it hunts for the killers.
It's an attack not just on the people of France, but this is an attack on all of humanity.
President Hollande has mobilized the military and took the unprecedented step of closing France's borders. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Washington.
Now, this isn't the first major terror attack France has seen this year. Back in January, 11 people were killed and 11 more were injured outside of the office of satirical newspaper Charlie Hebdo. Now, this is now being called one of the deadliest events of violence in France in decades. And at this time, officials are saying several locations in Paris were targeted in this coordinated attack. We've highlighted some of them on your screen in red. At the top, the Stade de France. It's the national stadium of France and can hold more than 81,000 fans. And we mentioned earlier that the French president was in the stadium at the time of the attacks, but he was escorted away safely. Below that on your screen is Le Petit Cambodge. It's a French restaurant where a gunman opened fire, killing multiple people. And right below that is the Bataclan. That's a music hall that eventually saw a standoff when gunmen took people hostage there. That event is over, but not before several people, including the gunman, were killed. A band called the Eagles of Death Metal was performing at that venue tonight. The band is based out of California, but News 19 has learned that the lead singer, 43-year-old Jesse Hughes, was born in Greenville. Reports were sketchy on whether the band members got out safely, but Hughes' brother, Ian Hughes, said on Facebook, quote, his brother is okay, and that he spoke to him about an hour ago, and the band is okay as well. Now, the band addressed the attack on their Facebook page, writing, "We are still currently trying to determine the safety and whereabouts of all of our band and crew. Our thoughts are with all the people involved in this tragic situation." We also heard reports of other South Carolina residents in Paris. A mom says her daughter was supposed to go to one of the restaurants under attack but missed it because she was running late. We've also heard of 2 Furman students who were traveling abroad and are stuck in France, but they are safe. Following tonight's terror attack, social media has been lighting up with everyone offering words of encouragement, including some South Carolina lawmakers. Senator Lindsey Graham tweeted this: "This isn't just an attack on the French people, it's an attack on human decency and all things that we hold dear." And this comes from Senator Tim Scott. "Prayers with Paris, those being held hostage, and the families of those killed. Heartbreaking." And finally, Representative Joe Wilson writes, "Roxanne and I are praying for everyone in Paris." Now, ever since this story broke, News 19 has been covering it from all angles, and we're going to continue doing that on social media and our website at WLTX.com, and you can check that out for any updates on this story.
Now, the Midland's most accurate forecast with Chief Meteorologist Jim Gandy.
And today we saw some mild temperatures. Cooler, dry air started coming in. We saw high temperatures in the 60s and 70s. 66 was the high in Rock Hill, 70 in Columbia, as well as in Orangeburg. It was 68 degrees in Sumter and 72 in Orangeburg. Now tonight temperatures have really cooled off. In fact, it's already 40 in Greenwood and in Rock Hill, 42 in Columbia, 50 in Sumter, and 47 degrees in Orangeburg. We are under mostly clear skies right now. We have had some high thin clouds. High pressure building into the area is going to be dominating our weather for the weekend. Now, here's what we are under tonight. We do have freeze warnings for the Tennessee River Valley, frost advisories from Arkansas into the upstate of South Carolina, but it does include Newberry and Fairfield counties. Temperatures will get cool enough there. In fact, in Newberry, we're expecting a low of 34, 35 in Winnsboro, 36 in Columbia, 37 in Sumter, and 39 in Orangeburg. Tomorrow, we'll warm up into the low 60s with 63 degrees here in Columbia. And if you're going to the game, well, it's a noon game. Game time temperature should be 57 degrees. We'll warm up to 63 degrees by the end of the game. And looking ahead for Sunday morning, we're expecting 33 here in Columbia. Frost will be widespread on Sunday with a high of 62, 66 on Monday, 72 on Tuesday with clouds increasing, and there will be a chance for rain Wednesday and Thursday. By Friday, it should be partly cloudy with a high temperature of 70 degrees. Now back to you, Loren.
All right, thanks, Jim. Well, it's been almost a month and a half since record flooding swamped South Carolina, and we still don't know how much it will cost. Robert Kittle covered the storm and has been looking at where things stand and the price tag for taxpayers.
Even though we saw video of the flooding or even saw it in person, it's still hard to believe the damage it left behind to roads and bridges. And there's so much that the DOT doesn't know yet how much it will cost taxpayers to fix it.
I'm expecting that it's probably going to be Thanksgiving or later before I'm able to come before you with a number.
Almost all of the hundreds of roads and bridges that were closed after the storm are back open, but some will be closed until sometime next year.
So who's going to be paying for those road repairs? Well, you can catch Robert Kittle's full story tomorrow on News 19 Saturday morning. Well, the women Gamecocks are continuing to make history this year. Season tickets for both reserve seats and general admission have sold out for the entire basketball season. And tonight was their first official game, and fans couldn't wait to see them on the court. Hundreds of people stood outside of the Colonial Life Arena hours before the doors opened, making sure that they could secure their spot for Friday's game against the Ohio State Buckeyes.
I'm excited. I can't wait.
Lance Grantham with ticketing and customer relations for USC has been with the Gamecocks for the past 8 years, but says he's never seen anything quite like this.
We used to draw 200 or 300 a game, sometimes 2,000 if we were, for the promotional games and stuff, and now to draw 12 or 13,000 and this year possibly 15 or 16,000 a game is really an incredible experience here.
Tickets for the women's games went on sale during the summer. With the women coming off of a Final Four run, fans couldn't wait to see what they had to offer this year.
We took pre-orders all summer for the season, and we reached 11,000 just in the last couple of weeks season tickets sold, which is an all-time high for us, obviously. And it's going to be the highest in the country probably for season tickets.
Did you ever think that you'd be standing in line like this for a women's basketball game?
No, I didn't. No, and I learned last week that I have to be the front of the line.
That's because even general admission seats are hard to come by. And with it being first come, first served seating, you got to get there early.
I'm going to knock people down to get my seat.
As for reserve seats, they're sold out for the season.
Women's basketball has had success in the past. The difference is we're championship level now in women's basketball. And our fans gravitate towards that, and they want to be a part of it.
And fans can't wait to see the women go all the way to the championship. Now, those reserve season tickets started at $60, and they are sold out for the season, but you can still get general admissions tickets at the door for home games. Coming up, we'll have the latest on high school playoffs throughout the Midlands. That's when Friday Night Blitz returns.